This is confirmation from the people that want to pay the money. Sponsors. Angel Reese fans are gonna be pissed.
The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has always been intense, but a shocking twist has taken it to a whole new level. After losing a major sponsorship deal, Reese has reportedly lashed out at Clark in a way that is making headlines and igniting online debates. Was this an emotional outburst born from frustration or a calculated move to change the narrative? Fans, critics, and the entire sports world are buzzing, and the tension between these two stars has never been higher. The story began when Caitlin Clark landed a $5 million offer from Ice Cube to join his Big Three league, sending shockwaves through sports and social media. The internet went wild, timelines lit up, and every major outlet rushed to cover the news. But in all the excitement, one name was completely missing: Angel Reese. She wasn't mentioned, hinted at, or even casually brought up. Then came the bigger moment. TMZ caught Ice Cube at lax and asked the question everyone wanted answered: would Angel get a deal like Caitlin's? His reply was quick and clear. No hesitation, no polite phrasing, just a flat rejection. In that instant, the dynamic changed. Angel Reese, once a fast-rising star in women's basketball, suddenly found herself on the outside looking in. This wasn't just a snub, it was strategy, and Ice Cube made it clear without holding back. They were in business to make money. Caitlin Clark means revenue, and Angel Reese doesn't match the numbers. Period. That reality didn't just ripple through sports media, it reached corporate boardrooms. Sponsors noticed, and the glow around Angel began to fade. Endorsements that once felt certain now seemed uncertain because the hype wasn't turning into the kind of results that make investors write big checks. Her fans pushed back online, accusing Ice Cube of sidelining a hard-working black woman who had fought for every bit of her success. But Cube wasn't speaking from emotion, he was looking at the math. The Big Three isn't the NBA. Budgets are tight, risks are high, and every dollar has to bring a guaranteed return. Caitlin Clark is a safe bet with record-breaking ratings, sold-out arenas, and jersey sales shooting through the roof. She's the complete package. Angel may bring passion, but Clark has the formula that both algorithms and accountants love. The truth is, this was never about good vibes or personal grudges, it's about value, and Caitlin Clark delivers it. When she plays, attendance jumps by an incredible 105%, and her jersey sales don't just rise, they soar by more than 1,000%. The average WNBA crowd when she's on the court is 15,591 people. These aren't PR spins or clever marketing lines. They're hard revenue stats. Brands don't need to be convinced to back her, she sells herself. Yes, Angel Reese grabs attention and has built a persona fueled by rivalry, confidence, and edge. But there's a fine line between headlines and profitability. Corporations invest in stability, not in social media battles, and Caitlin Clark's image is clean, marketable, and bulletproof. She praises teammates, avoids controversy, and delivers consistent professionalism. Angel's path has leaned heavily on drama, on-court taunts, post-game shade, and public spats. For fans, it's entertainment. For brands, it's risk. Then came the $1,000 shoe rumor, whispers that Angel pitched an ultra-expensive sneaker to Reebok only to be laughed out of the room. Whether true or not, in branding, perception is everything. Caitlin Clark is already featured in national ad campaigns, boosting her team's social media reach by over 260%. She's not just riding the wave of the WNBA's recent growth, she's driving it. While Angel can spark a viral moment, Caitlin turns regular games into must-watch events. Angel has spoken openly about facing online abuse, threats, and constant criticism, standing firm through it all with the support of her teammates, hometown, and family. But in the cold math of business, resilience alone doesn't land contracts, numbers do. And that's where the gap between her and Caitlin is becoming impossible to ignore. Now, as fans debate whether Ice Cube made the right call, the stage is set for a deeper look, one that's not about drama, but about hard facts. And here's the twist. What if the numbers tell a story you're not ready to believe? From taunts to trouble, that's where we're headed next. Angel Reese's fight to stay relevant has taken a sharp turn. She was supposed to be the perfect marketing dream, the look, the confidence, the unapologetic flair. She seemed made for the spotlight. Bayou Barbie wasn't just a catchy nickname. It was a whole brand that had people talking. She owned her moment, especially when her now famous "You Can't See Me" taunt went viral. turning her into a household name almost overnight. Suddenly, every brand wanted a piece of her energy. But in the WNBA, the spotlight is harsher, and for Reese, the glow has started to fade. Her stats have been inconsistent, her on-court performance unpredictable, and more often than not, her name trends for social media posts instead of game highlights. Instead of being seen as Rookie of the Year material, she's been labeled more of a TikTok celebrity than a dominant player. The cracks started to show when Ice Cube publicly explained why she wasn't chosen for his Big 3 project, making it clear it wasn't about her talent, it was about business. In his words, she couldn't bring the same value that Caitlin Clark could. That single statement sent ripples through her sponsorship world. Deals didn't necessarily get canceled, but the calls stopped coming. Campaign offers went quiet. The skincare promotions, the flashy drink collaborations, even the hyped crypto deal all disappeared without a trace. Behind the scenes, her team is scrambling, knowing her market power is slipping, while Reese herself has spoken out, saying she feels silenced, misunderstood, and even targeted. But the silence from sponsors speaks louder than anything Angel Reese could post online. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been rewriting WNBA history. She didn't just show up, she exploded onto the scene. The Indiana Fever, once an overlooked team, now sells out arenas everywhere they play, home or away. Her arrival didn't just boost interest. It transformed the league's entire financial picture. Fever jersey sales have skyrocketed by an incredible 1093, not hype, but a true revenue earthquake. Clark's games account for over a third of total WNBA attendance, and when she's on the court, the stands are packed. When she's not, the energy drops sharply. League Pass subscriptions tripled after her debut, and in just 3 months, she racked up more than 800 million social media views, more than the NBA, more than the NFL. She's not just a player. She's a one-woman economic machine, and brands can't ignore that. That's why Caitlin's face is everywhere in national commercials, while Reese's endorsements have shrunk to smaller projects like Reebok drops, often clouded by rumors and criticism. One is expanding the league's reach. The other is still trying to grow a personal image. Ice Cube's business choice made that clear. He offered Caitlin $15 million and a documentary opportunity, and when she declined, they didn't pivot to Reese. They simply moved on. The contrast is sharp. Caitlin doesn't chase headlines, she becomes them. She's not just building a brand, she's securing a legacy, while Reese is fighting to stay relevant in a league where public opinion can change in just a few games. The pressure is showing. The sharp clapbacks, confident smiles, and public rivalries that once fueled her rise are now part of the reason some brands are hesitant. In the business world, unpredictability isn't seen as edgy, it's seen as expensive. What once felt like her superpower, controversy, is now being treated as a risk. Even her social media presence has shifted, with fewer fiery captions and more reflective posts about growth and community. But a rebrand can't erase an old image overnight. Sponsors have long memories, and in a market built on consistency and reliability, viral doesn't always mean valuable. Reese is learning that in the pros, the game is just as much about business strategy as basketball skill, and in both areas, the competition is fierce. As these two stars take such different paths, the tension between perception and performance is only growing. Which brings us to the next chapter: fan reaction. What happens when loyalty, hype, and hard numbers collide? Almost instantly, the conversation turned. Reese's loyal supporters rushed to her defense, flooding timelines with claims of double standards and firing criticism at Ice Cube. But no trending hashtag can rewrite a balance sheet. Cube isn't stressed, canceled, or even shaken, he's calculating. To him, putting millions into a player whose brand feels more unstable than profitable isn't smart business. It's gambling, and Cube isn't in the mood to roll those dice. The fallout didn't just cost Reese a huge payday, it stripped her of leverage. While she works to rebuild her public image, Caitlin Clark is still smiling through endorsement signings and dropping flawless no-look passes on the court. The shift was fast and unapologetic. According to Yahoo Sports, Ice Cube openly admitted the Big 3 couldn't and wouldn't offer Reese the same $5 million deal they offered Clark. In his words, the Big 3 isn't in the chaos business. They're in the consistency business. And to Cube, Caitlin Clark is the perfect example of that model. She's proving you don't need controversy to dominate headlines and pull in numbers. Reese, on the other hand, had her moment. She was the face of intensity, fire, and viral showdowns, but somewhere along the way, she confused attention with achievement. While Clark quietly built stats, broke attendance records, and locked in sponsors, Reese was trending for clapbacks, sideline taunts, and off-court drama. That kind of spotlight burns hot, but it burns out quickly. Once her momentum faded, so did the brand's. Endorsement calls slowed, then stopped. The hype that once surrounded her name began to feel like yesterday's news. And when Cube weighed the cost against the potential return, the decision was cold in its simplicity. No production, no profit. This wasn't about disrespect. Ice Cube didn't take a personal shot at Reese. He made a business decision. Caitlin Clark is a proven revenue engine who fills arenas, sells jerseys, and attracts massive viewership without creating PR headaches. Reese, while magnetic to fans, had built a reputation that made corporations pause. Her high-energy rivalries and unapologetic trash talk make for thrilling sports headlines, but for cautious investors, they're red flags. Now, as Clark's face appears in national commercials and her bank account grows with new deals, Reese is living a different reality. She's no longer seen as Clark's equal in the boardroom, in sponsorship talks, or in public perception. What once looked like a rivalry has shifted into something else entirely, a gap. Reinvention may be on the table for Angel. She's resilient, no doubt, and has weathered enough storms to know how to stand tall, but the industry has moved on for now. The speed of that shift is a harsh reminder of how ruthless the business side of sports can be. Angel Reese once thought she was the main character in this chapter of women's basketball. Ice Cube's choice was a sharp reminder that, in the current script, she's not even in the next scene. Which takes us straight to the past clash between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. But what if that old rivalry was never really what we thought? Keep watching. In 2023, women's college basketball saw a spark that would ignite one of its most intense and debated rivalries: the fiery on-court exchange between Angel Reese of SU and Caitlin Clark of Iowa during the NCAA championship game. From the very beginning, this matchup was destined to be unforgettable. Caitlin Clark was on a record-breaking run, torching defenses and leading Iowa past powerhouse programs like South Carolina with jaw-dropping performances. She wasn't just scoring, she was rewriting what was possible in the college game. Angel Reese, meanwhile, had been a steady force all season, an unshakable presence who controlled both ends of the court, dominating the boards, delivering clutch plays, and wearing her confidence like armor. Reese wasn't afraid to speak her mind, and her personality had become just as defining as her basketball skills. The championship game was electric from the opening tip. SU seized control early, with Reese pulling down crucial rebounds, finishing key putbacks, and locking in on defense. Clark, true to form, answered with deep, impossible-looking threes and razor-sharp passes that kept Iowa alive. The tension in the arena was thick, every possession loaded with meaning. Then came the moment that would overshadow everything else. In the final seconds, with losses when all but sealed, Reese turned toward Clark, waved her hand across her face in the "you can't see me" gesture made famous by wrestler John Cena, and then pointed directly to her ring finger. It was a silent declaration that she was about to secure the championship trophy. And the move wasn't random. Clark herself had used the exact same gesture earlier in the tournament, most memorably during Iowa's Elite Eight win over Louisville. But while Clark's taunt had been widely celebrated as fiery and fun, Reese's was instantly met with outrage. Social media erupted with accusations of poor sportsmanship and disrespect. The criticism was swift, loud, and relentless. Reese's supporters quickly called out what they saw as a glaring double standard. Why was Clark's show of swagger applauded, while Reese's was treated like an unforgivable offense? The debate quickly grew beyond basketball, touching on deeper issues of race, gender, and the way women athletes, especially women of color, are judged when they display emotion or confidence on the court. The backlash and defense played out on a massive scale. Celebrities, journalists, and fans joined the conversation. Some accused the media of bias, framing the same act in completely different ways depending on who performed it. Others argued that trash talk has always been part of competitive sports, and women should have the same freedom as men to show it without backlash. In the days that followed, Reese refused to back down. She made it clear her gesture wasn't meant as a personal attack on Clark, but as a statement against the way Clark had been treated as untouchable. All year, I was critiqued about who I was, Reese said in her post-game interviews. I don't fit the narrative. I'm too hood. I'm too ghetto. But when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing, Reese added. Clark, for her part, quickly shut down any talk of a feud. Speaking to ESPN, she defended Reese. I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. She's a tremendous player. That's what makes this game fun. People get to show their personality. Her comments helped calm the storm, but by then, the moment had already locked both their names together in the public imagination. That single exchange became more than just a viral clip, it was a cultural flashpoint. The 2023 championship shattered viewership records, drawing millions. Many tuned in not just for the game itself, but for the drama, intensity, and unapologetic personalities on display. Sponsors, analysts, and broadcasters began to realize this. Rivalry could be a gold mine for the sport's growth. Since then, the narrative around Reese and Clark has only grown more layered. On the court, their matchups are fierce. Off it, the media often works to pit them against each other. While both have publicly acknowledged each other's talent, Reese has leaned into the villain persona her critics assigned her, embracing the role with unapologetic confidence. Clark remains the calm, sharpshooting star, her reserved demeanor a sharp contrast to Reese's fiery energy. What keeps this rivalry so magnetic isn't just the clash in their playing styles, it's the way it mirrors broader cultural debates. It forces fans to confront their own biases about what women athletes are allowed to do, say, and show emotionally. For some, Reese represents raw authenticity, a refusal to bend for approval. For others, Clark embodies controlled excellence and competitive poise. Together, they've propelled women's basketball into a spotlight it hasn't seen in decades. The "you can't see me" moment may have lasted only seconds, but it continues to echo in conversations about fairness, representation, and the shifting perception of women in sports. Now, as both athletes carve their paths in the pros, every matchup carries extra voltage. Fans can't help but wonder if the sparks from 2023 will fly again, which brings us to the next big question: Caitlin Clark's off-court empire. Just how deep does her influence run, and why are brands lining up for her in ways we've rarely seen? Clark's rise hasn't just been about breaking records. It's been about constructing one of the most formidable endorsement portfolios in modern sports. Even before the recent Ice Cube offer, her brand partnerships were a masterclass in combining global giants, lifestyle names, and personal hometown TIs into a marketing empire that feels both massive and authentic. The center of it all is her groundbreaking partnership with Nike. What began as a college nil deal in late 2022 evolved into an 8-year, $28 million contract when she entered the one of the largest ever for a female basketball player. The deal includes a signature shoe, a personal logo, and puts her alongside icons like LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Nike isn't just betting on her talent, they're investing in her as a long-term cultural force. Gatorade came calling in December 2023, making Clark only the second female collegiate basketball player ever on their roster. The deal wasn't just commercials, it included $22,000 and later $25,000 donations to the Caitlin Clark Foundation, funding youth programs in education and sports. That philanthropic angle broadened her appeal far beyond the hardwood. In October 2023, she broke new ground again, becoming the first college athlete and the first female athlete to sign with State Farm. Appearing alongside NBA stars Jimmy Butler and Reggie Miller, Clark expanded her reach to audiences across sports, blending relatability with elite performance. Her influence also moves into lifestyle and empowerment campaigns. Buick's See Her Greatness initiative used her journey to inspire female athletes ahead of the 2023 NCAA tournament. Bose tapped her to promote their wireless headphones, showing her pull outside traditional sports marketing. Shoot Away, a basketball training brand, tied its partnership to her roots by donating a shooting machine to her old high school. Even her hometown TI's Payoff Hy-Vee, the Iowa grocery chain, has partnered with her since 2021, releasing Caitlin's Crunch Time cereal and linking promotions to her scoring milestones. Some deals blend branding with advocacy. In 2022, she joined H&R Block's A Fair Shot campaign, pushing for equal nil opportunities and helping athletes understand taxes. The collectibles market has also crowned her a star. Her Topps trading Cards have pulled record prices, and in April 2024, Panini America signed her as the first female athlete with an exclusive deal cementing her crossover appeal. She's even stepped into economic reform efforts, joining Goldman Sachs to advocate for changes to the Small Business Administration. From the start, Clark has backed community businesses. One of her earliest partnerships was with the Vinyl Studio, a local female-owned apparel brand. By March 2024, she had signed with Gainbridge, the financial platform sponsoring the Indiana Fever's arena, linking her directly to her WNBA home base. Just 2 months later, Wilson Sporting Goods announced she'd become the first athlete since Michael Jordan to launch a signature basketball. Caitlin Clark's rise hasn't just been about shattering records, it's been about rewriting the playbook for how a women's basketball star can dominate off the court. Even without counting Ice Cube's recent offer, her brand deals are already a masterclass in blending global giants, lifestyle names, and grassroots connections into a marketing machine that feels both massive and deeply authentic. It starts with Nike. What began as a college nil deal in late 2022 transformed into an 8-year, $28 million contract when she entered the one of the largest ever for a female basketball player. The deal includes a signature shoe, a personal logo, and puts her alongside icons like LeBron James and Kevin Durant, cementing Nike's belief that she's a long-term force in the game. From there, the roster only gets more impressive. In December 2023, Gatorade made her only the second female collegiate basketball player ever on their roster. More than commercials, the partnership included $22,000 and later $25,000 donations to the Caitlin Clark Foundation, funding youth education and sports programs, adding philanthropic depth to her brand. 2 months earlier, she became the first college and first female athlete to sign with State Farm, appearing alongside NBA legends Jimmy Butler and Reggie Miller. She extended her reach beyond basketball, blending relatability with elite performance. Buick's See Her Greatness campaign turned her story into inspiration for female athletes ahead of the 2023 NCAA tournament. Bose used her to promote their wireless headphones, while Shoot Away tied their deal to her roots by donating a shooting machine to her high school. Her hometown loyalty shines through with Hy-Vee, the Iowa grocery chain that's partnered with her since 2001, releasing Caitlin's Crunch Time cereal and tying promotions to her scoring achievements. She's used her platform for advocacy too, joining H&R Block's A Fair Shot campaign in 2022 to fight for equal nil opportunities and educate athletes on taxes.